Hey, what's poppin' peeps? Typhlosion787 here today to talk about a few specific Pokemon in the OU metagame. No, not the Pokabilities metagame, just the normal OU metagame. Now, there's a lot of issues that people have with the current generation. One of the main issues is heavy-duty boots. For instance, like Volcarona here. It is now one of the most threatening Pokemon in the metagame, easy S-tier Pokemon, just because it can run boots now. And if you want to try to knock it off, whatever Pokemon you're using to knock it off, you may have to be extremely careful so you don't get burnt by Flame Body, which adds another layer of threat to Volcarona. Like, let's say you use Knockoff with Landorus on it, and then you get burned, well, there goes a lot of the threat from your Scarf Landorus. And that's just boots on its own. Another issue that people have is teleport. Like, just being able to switch out at the end of the turn, and you can even pass Wish with it. Now, the reason why I switched to Clef is because Blissey cannot have both Wish and Teleport legally. But yeah, Clef can Wish Pass with Teleport. And then the last huge issue that people have is Regenerator. Like, being able to have 33% of your HP restored as soon as you switch out can be really annoying. But there are a few specific Pokemon, two in specific, that have all these things and a few more, and people are really annoyed at it. And they are the Slow Twins. Now, of course, the Slow Twins have Regenerator. They have boots. Well, Slowbro sometimes runs Rocky Helmet, not very much. But, yeah, most of the time they run boots. And this is the normal moveset for both. This is the normal moveset in IV and EV spread for both the Slow Twins. Two Pokemon that do such similar things in such different ways. And the things that they do similarly is they take hits and pressure your opponent. And taking hits in its own is not necessarily that bad. These Pokemon, after all, do get pretty threatened by hazards because any Regenerator Pokemon gets threatened by hazards because it will restore less when it comes in on the hazards. But with heavy-duty boots, you completely ignore the hazards and you get the full 33% back, along with not having to deal with side effects like toxic spikes, poisoning you if it has 2 layers, badly poisoning, which could be really detrimental for Slowbro and Slowking's walling capabilities. Now you just don't have to worry about them. The speed lowering effect of Sticky Web, so now on Volcarona, if it comes in, there's no chance of it being slower than a base 95 Pokemon or something. And that's just boots, but then you combine it with Regenerator, so you get the guarantee on your health back, and it can be really annoying. Then you add on Teleport, which thankfully these Pokemon cannot pass Wish. It would be extremely frustrating if they could, but they still do have teleport, and a lot of people see that as an issue because teleport with regenerator means you don't have to risk a Pokemon in the back taking damage, and you still get to heal at the same time, meaning that you meaning that you're taking much less of a risk than you would otherwise. It's low risk, extremely high reward. Then you add on to that the fact that both of these two have natural recovery that's not regenerator and slack off. So if you predict incorrectly and switch to a Pokemon you think will counter the Pokemon they're sending in, and they decide just to heal up with slack off, well, now they can shoot off a Scald or a Future Sight. Speaking of Future Sight, that's another reason why these two are so good, because of Future Sight. And the reason why Future Sight can be annoying is because you see the massive 120 power, but it hits 2 turns after being used, which is why it's normally considered a useless move on most Pokemon. Like you'll see here, it's not shown, but in the usually useless moves category, it is shown. And that's because most of the time, people don't get much use out of it. The Slow Twins is where it's different though. You can easily throw out a Future Sight, teleport out so you don't get threatened, and you have a free Future Sight up, pressuring your opponent, making it to where they'd have to switch in a Pokemon to either tank the Future Sight or a Pokemon that is Dark type and is immune to Future Sight, both of which can be really easy to punish, all for the simple fact that their opponent switched in. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing in and of itself. That would just mean that the person with the Slow Twin would be outplaying their opponent, making reads, and that's good. I'm glad that the Slow Twins encourage reading your opponent and making wise predictions. That's great. But when it comes to having all these tools, I understand why some people are frustrated. Do I think there should be any restrictions put on it? Personally, no. I know some people do think there should be restrictions, but I personally do not. And after all of that, you still have one more specific tool in Scald. Now, Scald is a 30% chance to burn. Now, where this comes in is, like, let's say a Pokemon runs a Will-O-Wisp on every single one of its sets. Then a Pokemon that's a physical attacker but checks that Pokemon and is faster is obviously not going to attempt to come in so it doesn't get burned because they know the other Pokemon have Will-O-Wisp. Well, since Will-O-Wisp is a guaranteed burn, whereas Scald is a 30% chance, sometimes you just have to take the risk, because you know that a Scald may not burn. And that chance is what makes people play riskier, because they know it's not guaranteed, so they try to take their chances, and a lot of times, yeah, it doesn't end up too well for them. And the Slow Twins just amplify that even more. Like, not only do they have to worry about you teleporting if they switch out and getting a free slower switch into something else, not only do they have to worry about Future Sight or you healing, but they also have to worry about getting burned, which all of those things together is a lot to account for when trying to counter one specific Pokemon. So yes, as I've said several times, I can see why people are annoyed about Slowbro and Slowking, because they have all these crazy tools that work so well together. And honestly, they're fun to use, I won't lie, and for me they're even fun to play against. But do I think any action should be taken against the Slow Twins? No. If there should be any action taken, I think it's just with the combination of teleporting Future Sight, or teleport Boots and Regenerator, or just all those four combined, and not with these Pokemon in general. Because if they didn't have Boots, Teleport, and Regenerator, then they would definitely not be OU. Like, the only time Slowking was in OU where it did not have a Regenerator was Gen 1, where it had Broken Amnesia. Regenerator is just that much of a boon, and even then it didn't keep the Slow Twins out. I mean, even then, Regenerator didn't automatically boost the Slow Twins to top tier OU when the ability was first introduced. No, like, Slowbro had its heyday in Gen 6 OU, where it countered a lot. Slowbro, I believe, was an RU at the time. I think both were in RU in Gen 7. Slowbro had an OU niche, but I believe was UU in Gen 5, while Slowking was lower. They've just, despite Regenerator, they've never had this height of usability and usage, and then Heavy Duty Boots makes them that much more viable, and it's really nice. But it's not just Boots and Regenerator, it's the other tools that they were given as well, like Teleport, meaning they're able to abuse the two so much better. They're able to take effect of so many more things and play to many more advantages than other Pokemon with the Regenerator ability, which is understandable. With being able to put on this much offensive pressure while being a defensive Pokemon, it can be annoying to play against in the heat of the moment. But at the same time, luck and predictions are just part of the game. And a Pokemon shouldn't be banned just because luck can lose you a game. Because playing around these two is not simply luck-based. There are several Pokemon that still check them. Like Fizdef Slowbro gets checked by Zapdos, Seraora, Volcarona. I'm unsure about Tyranitar. Coco, Fiddy, like Scizor U-turning, Rillaboom if it's not burned, Kyurem with Freeze Dry. These Pokemon get checked by so many things, but they still remain to be amazing top-tier OU Pokemon because of the tools that they have. And it really shows how, despite sometimes being extremely frustrating, the metagame is still in a healthy state, because these Pokemon, in all hindsight, are not the best, but they still have high usage and are good Pokemon in the metagame because of how many more tools they were given in the generational shift. Anyways, guys, this has been Typhlosion787, and I'm at the house. Bye.